one of the things I want to say about that is I stayed in this question that I learned about 5 years ago with Access Consciousness, and that is, how does it get better than this, and what else is possible? And just those two questions can create so much in your life as it has in mine. And one of those many things is being here in Costa Rica for the Access Consciousness Facilitator training that I've done the last several years, and the change that that has created. And so, even though it was like the very first tool that I received from Access Consciousness, listening to a audio from Dr. Dane Hare, one of the co-founders, and Gary Douglas is the founder of Access. I came across that because I had been looking and asking in some way, even though I wasn't totally aware of that I was asking, but there was areas in my life that I wanted to change, and I didn't know how to change them. And trust me, I had done pretty much everything under the sun because there was such a desire to create more in my life, and the things that weren't working for me, to change those. And so in somewhere in my universe, I was asking the question of, okay, so what would it take to change this? And then Access Consciousness, somebody gave me the link to this. And as I was listening to it, and I didn't know what the heck he was saying, but it didn't matter because it was creating change, even though I didn't know how it worked or really what was he saying. And I had so much judgment when I came across, like when this friend sent it to me, I was like, what is this stuff? Don't you know I've studied with master teachers and all yada yada, and yet I was willing to take a look at it because what did it hurt, right? And only to find out that as I was listening to it, it was only 20 or 30 minutes long, and I just was getting definitely out of the judgment that I had locked up in my body. There was more joy, there was more space, and I was like, maybe I want to look into this some more. And it really has literally changed the most in my life. And the very first tool I had was the question, how does it get better than this? I couldn't remember it. I had to keep looking at it because it's like your mind doesn't want to necessarily contemplate in that manner. But anyway, I had a lot of fun just staying in the question, shared it with other people, and those people who chose to use it also created. You just don't know what was going to show up, but that things would show up, and a lot of it was had to do with ease and just anything in your life. And what was also very interesting is that probably about for 3 weeks I was playing with that question and having like all this ease, and with my family and my business and just day-to-day stuff. And it was almost like, oh my gosh, it's like magic. And then after a little while, things kind of slowed down. And I was like, wait a minute, I liked it so much better the way it was before. And I realized, oh, I have stopped asking that question. How does it get better than this? So even though I knew that it was creating change, I also really appreciated the realization that when you get out of question or stop asking a question, that it stops the creation. So of course I was like, okay, I really was enjoying what was showing up, and so of course I started using question again. So I just, even though it was like oftentimes it is the very first tool that we may come across in Access Consciousness, and the one that I give freely to everybody who is maybe looking to have some change in any area of their life. It doesn't make it any less valuable, because since then I've learned all kinds of other questions and many other tools that I teach in my classes and in individual sessions. And yet that one is, even though it's such a basic one, it is actually creates a lot of change. So even 5 years later, I still will use the question, how does it get better than this and what else is possible? And it's just amazing what then you can create in your life. So distant invitation, if you know, and all it is it's just like, even if you don't know that it works, it could be fun to play with it and experiment with it and see what shows up in your life. So how much fun could you have, and what could you create if you were to be in the question? So you could play with it. You could create change. You could go on some amazing trips. So have fun with it if you do choose to play with it.